Hi, I'm David.
And I'm Leslie.
And we enjoy spending our vacations traveling around the world by bicycle.
On some previous trips, we cycled around Sweden and Denmark.
We're cycling along.
Marveling at the amazing cycle paths there.
Couldn't have asked for better weather.
A couple summers ago, we flew into Paris. We made our way to the Loire Valley and cycled around there for a few weeks. It was amazing. Mostly, though, we spent some great time here in Ontario marveling at the wonderful landscape that we live in.
We're starting this trip at the end of June 2024 and plan to spend about 3 weeks cycling largely north on the Eurovelo 15. We flew into Frankfurt, spent the night, assembled our bikes, and then took a train to Andermatt, Switzerland, where we then cycled down Eurovelo 15 through Liechtenstein and Austria to Basel, Switzerland. Then we cycled a little bit west towards the Eurovelo 5 and cycled through the Alsace region, through Strasbourg, and then cycled back into Germany to Offenburg, and then took a train to Luxembourg, where we cycled over towards the Mosel River, down the Mosel River to Koblenz, and then back up on the Rhine, and ended in Mainz, where we took a train back to Frankfurt. In the second video, we cover 3 days of cycling from Bad Ragaz, Switzerland to Bregenz, Austria via Liechtenstein. We follow the east shore of Lake Constance, then take a ferry to Constance, Germany, and another ferry on the third day back into Switzerland, finishing in Stein am Rhein. Okay, so day 3, wet and cloudy day, leaving Bad Ragaz and heading to Lake Constance, Bodensee, 75-kilometer ride, mostly downhill. Started off with a little rain, hopefully that's all we get. Oh, there's some blue sky, that's nice. So we're along the very channelized Rhine River now. Seems like it's been pretty much straight since we, in the middle of the day yesterday for sure. And you see still some big mountains as we're heading largely out of the Alps today, I believe. And more to come later. This is really pretty. Again, glacially ripped mountains, and the great terraces over there, and really the Alps behind us. Maybe not visible. So that's Switzerland. We're crossing the Rhine on this little bicycle bridge, and over there's Liechtenstein with the helicopters, and those are Liechtensteinian mountains. And we'll be cycling through Liechtenstein along the Rhine for the next hour or so, looking for a geocache. So, second country of the day. We'll be back in Switzerland in a couple days though. Maybe even later today. So I think we're starting to see the beginnings of the urban part of Liechtenstein, such as it is. Still along the Rhine, still along the levees constructed for flood protection. To the right, you can see some pretty big hills. Dare I say mountains. And we're on this sort of long, boring path here. Dodging snails and slugs. So here comes a bike coming at us. So the capital is Vaduz. I think we're about 4 kilometers from there. The bike seems to be on the other side. Take a little detour to get to Vaduz. We're going to head up to the right here. You ready? Oh, you didn't take the first. There's a castle on the hill here. And a little bit.
So Liechtenstein is the 6th smallest country in the world, and interestingly, there are more people employed in the country than actually live there. They are a very globally integrated country and have the second highest GDP outside of Monaco in Europe, and we're excited to see it.
Crazy artwork here. Hang on a sec. Just going over the spaceman. Spaceman. In here. Oh. That's cute. Just carrying on with the theme of where we were in Bad Ragaz artwork. Okay, off to find a Liechtensteinian pastry. After spending about 20 minutes cycling through Vaduz, we headed back over the Rhine River, back into Switzerland, where we ventured away from the Rhine a few times into some large agricultural areas where we saw corn, cows, potatoes, lettuce, and lots of farms. Nothing too spectacular, but it was a nice flat area, and we saw some beautiful hills on either side of the valley. There were some periods of rain that we encountered, but mostly we stayed dry throughout the day. Little lunch spot amongst the corns, canals, clouds. Just had a bit of rain. Sunshine on the hills over there. A little family of 4 going past us. Kid in a trailer, a kid in a tag along. And they're going pretty fast. Still, same situation, Rhine, highway, Switzerland.
We continued north, passing many cyclists, and we even saw a woman walking 2 ponies.
Hello.
And then eventually passing into Austria before we rode along the shore of the Bodensee, or Lake Constance.
Crossing over the Rhine, I think. Or sort of Rhine. Yeah, there's the Rhine. It's pretty flooded out of the left. Yeah, I see that. Along the Bodensee now for the first time. Right here. Gonna crash filming.
Bregenz was originally a Celtic settlement before becoming a Roman town called Brigantium, which was a key military and trade hub. Today, the town blends modern architecture with historical sites like the Baroque St. Martin's Tower and the medieval Upper Town.
The old town of Bregenz. We're just coming up from the hotel to have a look around. And then we're gonna ride around, halfway around Lake Constance, Bodensee today. And now we're just in a little medieval village here, or part of the city. See what's up here. I'd like to find a bike shop for some air. You ready? Today we're cycling partly around the Bodensee. We start in Bregenz and cycle along the northeast shore through Friedrichshafen over to Meersburg, where we catch the ferry to Constance. Finally on the high water path here. Water's right there, isn't it? All those benches are flooded. There's Lake Constance. Everything's a little underwater. It's a boat leaving, and there's Leslie, I think. It's 62 kilometers of mostly this, I think. Okay, see the Alps now. The sunniest it's been up there since we've arrived. And the sun's shining over here. We've chosen to only cycle partly around Lake Constance, but in total it's a 260 kilometer loop that goes all around the lake through 5 different countries. The pathways, as you can see in a lot of these pictures, are primarily dedicated just to bicycles. There are some sections like here where you're sharing the road with cars, but we found the traffic to be quite minimal and by far more cyclists than we saw drivers. Finally emerging here into wide open Lindau and the Alps behind it.
A wonderful treat about cycling at this time of the year in Europe are the strawberries and cherries and other fruits that we've been seeing all along the pathways. Lots of little stands where we could stop and buy a pint of cherries or a punnet of strawberries and just eat them as we go, or sat by the water and enjoyed the wonderful fruit. While the cycle path around the lake mostly goes through small towns, one exception is Friedrichshafen, which is also, curiously, home to the Zeppelin Airship Museum. It turns out that this region was the birthplace of Zeppelins, including the Hindenburg, and there's much to see and to explore when it comes to Zeppelins in the region, but we only had time to hit the Zeppelin Museum, which we found to be quite amazing. Lots of artifacts from the crash of the Hindenburg and other memorabilia that was really interesting.
After spending some time in the museum, we cycled a bit further down the path to Meersburg, where we waited a few minutes for the ferry to take us across to Constance. It was a fairly quick trip. It was quite windy, but a very beautiful and enjoyable ride. Still laughing. It's going the right way. Constance is a beautiful city that was not bombed during World War II because of its proximity to Switzerland. The old town was especially attractive with many painted buildings. We stayed in the Graf Zeppelin Hotel and enjoyed a traditional heavy German meal that night. Okay, out of Constance on a bike highway, heading to Reichenau Monastery, UNESCO World Heritage Site, and then we'll try to get a ferry across the small section of the Bodensee to get to Switzerland, and then we will head to Stein am Rhein, back on the Rhine River. Lots of people on bikes today. Friday morning, bike with the windscreen. Bike. Yeah. Happy kid on the bike. Maybe not so happy. Yeah, I hear it. There's like Constance out there. Bikes chugging up the hill. connection between Constance mainland and the island. There's Switzerland over there.
Reichenau Island is historically significant as it was a major center of art and learning and religious influence during the Middle Ages. It was founded in 724 and it became the most important of the monasteries in the Carolingian Empire, known for its illuminated manuscripts and contributions to Christian scholarship. Today it remains interesting for its remarkably preserved medieval churches, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The island's serene beauty was wonderful to ride around. We rode along the shore and through the grapevines. It was beautiful.
Lights coming down here. They have some pheromone something to attract pests. So this is the museum. To a ferry here to get us into Switzerland. Still on Reichenau. To get off Reichenau Island, we were hoping to catch a small solar ferry that only runs when the weather is good. It had been a bit windy, so we were concerned about whether it was going to go, but it did. It held about 7 or 8 passengers, and it was entirely solar powered, and it took about 20 minutes to get across the lake and into Switzerland.
And I'm just going to add that if it wasn't running, we had no idea how we were going to get across the lake.
Yeah, pretty flooded, this parking lot. Oh, there's a swan in the parking lot. Once we got off the ferry, we cycled along the Swiss shoreline of the Untersee, which is a portion of Lake Constance, eventually reaching to where the Rhine River leaves Lake Constance and starts flowing northwards towards Stein am Rhein, which is our next destination. Lots of covered fruit here.
These cubes are all comfortable.
Yeah.
Stein am Rhein is known for its exceptionally well-preserved medieval old town. It gained significance in the Middle Ages when the Benedictine monastery of St. George was moved there in the year 1007, boosting its economic and cultural importance at that time. Many of the town's buildings date from the 15th to 17th centuries and are adorned with intricate frescoes, giving it a truly fairy tale-like appearance. Today, the town attracts visitors for its cobblestone streets, half-timbered houses, and a vibrant set of painted facades, making it one of the best preserved historic towns in Switzerland. It also sits along the Rhine River, creating a wonderfully picturesque setting.
Since we had a short cycling day, we had plenty of time to walk around the town, visit the monastery, and have a quiet dinner in a Thai restaurant as we watched the city empty out of tourists. Please stay tuned for the third part of our trip when we head down the Rhine River to Basel, passing through Rhine Fall and the towns of Rafs and Bad Ragaz.